Yeah, Bhumika. So thank you for joining, and let's talk about the AZ-900 fundamentals Microsoft entry level exam questions answers. So this is exactly the almost the same questions. Little pattern will be changed, but the same question, you know, will be there. If you get the concept, I think you have already concept, so definitely you will get it. So some of the questions we will talk about that. So let's see, the scenario is your company has a data center in the Los Angeles and New York. The company has Microsoft Azure subscription. You are configuring the web data center as your cluster site for the site resiliency. We have talked about that. You need to recommend an Azure storage redundancy options. You have the following data storage requirement. So see, the data storage requirement you have given, data must be stored on the multiple nodes. Data must be stored on the nodes in the separate geography location. Data can be read from the secondary location as well as from the primary location. So both location data can be read. So you see,
Yes, yeah.
that's the
Mirror.
point. Yeah,
Those mirror each other.
it's a mirror. So it's called the geo redundancy storage. Okay. So the can be read from the secondary. You can see here is showing the only
Yeah,
read
yeah,
one.
yeah.
So read only geo redundancy storage. You can enable it. So the right answer is the read
The the
only
sec
geo
the
redundancy storage.
the second
No,
geo redundancy storage, the second one, right?
read only last one. Read only. See, data only
Oh,
they
read
want to
only.
read it.
Okay, wants to read it. Yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
Now I have also given the explanation here, wrote the explanation. The read-only geo-redundancy storage built on the GRS by allowing read access to the data in the secondary
Secondary
location
location.
as well as the primary. This option
Okay.
meets the requirement for data to be stored on the multiple nodes in separate geographic location and allow data to be read from both the primary and secondary locations.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's called the geo redundant storage. Others storage are also the GRS, ZRS and LRS. Okay, so I have just
Okay.
given over there, but provide the redundancy by the replicating data to the secondary geographic location, but it does not allow reading from the secondary location unless the primary location fails. Okay, so GRS
Okay.
will follow the work. If there is a fail, then only it will be available the data. Okay, when you talk about the ZRS, GRS called stores data across multiple availability zone within the same regions.
Region.
Yeah.
Yes.
Locally redundant storage, LRS what will do? Store multiple copies of the data within a single region. So LRS is only for the single region.
Yeah.
GRS is only for the same data across multiple availability zones. All the availability zone will keep in the same region.
Put the same region.
Yeah,
Yes.
and Geo you have already got it. Okay, let's go to the second chapter. So again, the question is, your development have created the 10 web application that must be hosted on the Azure. You need to determine which Azure web tier plan to host the web apps. The web tier plan must meet the following requirement. The requirement is the web apps will use the custom domains. The web apps each require 10 GB of storage. The web app must each run in the dedicated compute instances. Load balancing between the instances must be included. Cost must be minimized. So which web tier plan should you use? So generally it's not there here, but it's a standard. So in this scenario, it is a standard you have to use. Okay, so load balancing, the
Okay.
standard tier includes the built-in load balancing across multiple instances, which is not available in the basic free or share tier. So there are different kind of tier plan, but you have to, if you want to use the you know load balancing, then you have to go for the standard tier.
Okay.
Okay. Next question is, you are required to deploy artificial intelligence AI. We have discussed about that solution in the Azure. You want to make sure that you are able to build, test and deploy predictive analytics for the solution. You should make use of the Azure Cosmos DB. So this is the Cosmos DB, which is supported by Microsoft Azure. Does this solution meet the goals? Say no, only the Cosmos DB doesn't meet the goal, right? So see the explanation. Azure Cosmos DB is globally distributed multi-model database service designed for high availability and low latency. It is used for managing the data at a scale and is ideal for scenarios requiring distributed data such as IoT, web apps, and real-time analytics. However, it is not specifically designed for building, testing, and deploying predictive analytics or AI models. To build, test, and deploy predictive analytics for AI solution, you should consider using the AML, Azure Machine Learning. Okay, or there is also one part Azure Synapses Analytics. So this will support. So here the answer is only Cosmos DB doesn't meet the requirement. Did you get that?
Yeah.
So explanation I have given from very clearly. Okay, let's see this one. Your company infrastructure includes a number of business units that each need a large number of various Azure resources for everyday operations. The resources required by each business unit are identical. You are required to sanction a strategy to create Azure resource automatically. Solution: we recommend that Azure Resource Manager templates be included in the strategy. Does the solution meet the goal? The answer is yes. Okay, so what is the ARM? See, Azure ARM, we have discussed about the template or JSON files that define the infrastructure and configuration of your Azure resources. So under ARM, everything you can define it, and since it's a single, kind of boundary, and it is developed in the JSON format, so it's as a JSON file, so you can configure the resource. They also allow to automate the deployment of the Azure resources in the consistent and repeatable manner by using the ARM templates. So it's a kind of template which is a JSON format. You can define a blueprint of the resources needed by each business unit and deploy them automatically, ensuring that all required resources are created with the same configuration every time. So last week the person read this question was there. One of the guys has written the exam, he got that questions.
Okay.
Your company has a virtual machine hosted in the Microsoft Azure. The VMs are located in the single Azure virtual network named VNet. The company has users that work remotely. The remote workers require access to the VMs and VNet. You need to provide access for the remote workers. What should you do? Does the solution meet the goal? Yeah, so configure a point to site VPN. So see what is the question? Read the properly. Your company has a virtual machine hosted in the Microsoft Azure. The VMs are located in the single Azure virtual network named VNet1. The company has users that work remotely. Okay, so users are trying to work remotely. The remote workers require access to the VM on VNet. You need to provide access for the remote workers. So what do? You have to create the point to site VPN.
Okay.
Okay, so explanation is this. The point to site VPN is secure connection that allow individual remote user to connect to your Azure virtual VNet from their remote location. This is ideal for remote worker who need access to the virtual machine hosted in Azure. Okay, other S2S and all the explanation is there, but it will not.
Yeah.
Okay, another. You have been informed by your supervisor for the company's intention to automate server deployment. See here, the question is automate the server. There is a lot of long questions, but we have to take the context main line and then you can relate. So they want to do the automate the server deployment to Azure. There is, however, some concern that administrative credential could be uncovered during this process. You are required to make sure that during the deployment, administrative credentials are encrypted using the suitable Azure solution. So they want to, automate the server deployment and keep the administrative password secure credential. So what your recommendation? The use Azure information protection. Does the solution meet the goal? No, Azure information protection does not meet. So the question is no. Generally, you should use the Azure Key Vault. Azure Key Vault, you can keep the password for secretly,
Hmm?
for safely. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Now that you choose the correct answer from the drop down menu, you must have seen that. Okay. When you are implementing the software as a service solution, you are responsible for the configuring the SaaS solution, right? So
Yeah.
when you are completing the software as a service solution, you are responsible configuring the SaaS solution. So what is the SaaS solution? Software as a service. You are responsible to configure the solution. Everything else is managed by the cloud provider, right? Everything in the SaaS managed by the cloud
Evidence.
provider. You have to just manage the configuration part. So SaaS require at least amount of the management. The cloud provider is responsible for managing everything, and the end user just user uses the software as a service, allow user to connect the and use cloud-based app over the internet. Common
Yeah.
example are emails or Microsoft 365. So Microsoft 365, if you are using, still you need to configure a little bit, right, at the end, even though it's a
Mm-hmm.
complete solution, but still you need to configure,
Yeah.
right?
You have to complete this.
Right.
Set it up.
Right. Now, next question. You plan to migrate all the servers to Azure. You need to recommend a solution to ensure that some of the servers are available. If a single Azure data center goes offline for an extended period, what should you include in the recommendation? So you see single data center, see here the point we have discussed during the training. Single Azure data center goes offline. Can you see? Single Azure data center
Yes.
goes
Mm-hmm.
offline to extend the period. So definitely there should be the solution for the fault tolerance, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, the Microsoft always asks the very big questions, but the context you should understand. Okay, and once
Mm-hmm.
you understand the context, single offline, so data center fault tolerance, you can see. So other elasticity is extending scalability, low latency doesn't work. Fault tolerance. What is the meaning of fault tolerance? Fault tolerance is the ability of a system to continue operating properly in the event
In
of
the Eden of
failure.
a failure.
Yeah, that's the main
Yeah.
thing. See, failure means if the one side goes down, another side data would be available. Okay. So achieving fault tolerance in Azure, you typically use features like availability zones or geo-redundant storage. Correct? So AG, you
Yeah.
have a fault tolerance, is similar to fault tolerance, which distribute your resource across multiple data center or regions. Okay, this ensures that your servers and services remain operational even if one data center experiences an outage. Correct? And elasticity and all is a scale up and on. We have discussed that will not support. Now, next question. What are the two characteristics of the public cloud? Characteristics of the public cloud: metering, pricing. Okay, meter the price,
Pricing.
right? Self-service management.
Management.
This two is more appropriate on this five selection. And the explanation is there here. You can see public cloud is a model for the cloud computing where services are offered
Yeah.
over the public internet. Okay, meter the pricing. Okay. Pay as you go models, we have already discussed about that. Self-service management. Public cloud platform provide the users with self-service portal or APIs, enabling them to manage, configure, and deploy resources on demand without direct intervention from the service provider. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So explanation will help you also
Yeah.
to get
To understand more.
understand more. Okay. You have you have an on-premises network that contain 100 servers. Look at that, 100 servers. You need to recommend a solution that provide additional resources to your users. The solution must minimize capital and operational expenditure cost. What should you include in the recommendation? See here.
Yeah.
But they are trying to do that. You have a already on premises 100 servers. We have already discussed that scenario. You need to recommend a solution that provide additional resources. So maybe they have higher and the new resources, and then they are extending and expand. There's an expansion plan, right?
Yeah.
and additional resources to your users, or maybe the existing users, they got the other project and they want to mostly provide the resources, then what would be the scenario? So definitely we have discussed about the hybrid cloud, right? So in hybrid
Yeah.
cloud situation, you can use the existing your on-premises data center, as well as you can also leverage and go to the
So,
cloud, public cloud.
yeah.
Either you use the AWS, Azure, GCP, whatever. Okay, so the scenario it is here. Scenario is a hybrid cloud.
Hybrid cloud.
Right, very clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, question number 12. You have a 1000 virtual machine hosted on the Hyper-V host in data center.
Apps V host.
Hyper-V machine hosted on Hyper-V. Definitely,
Yeah.
they are talking about the on-prem. I think you plan to migrate all the virtual machine to an Azure pay-as-you-go subscription. So they have
Mm-hmm.
existing data center or 1000 server which is hosted on the ESX Hyper-V, VMware Hyper-V, and they want to
Mm-hmm.
upgrade pay-as-you-go subscription. You need to identify which expenditure model to use for the planned Azure solution. Which expenditure model should you identify? So that is the right answer is the operational. Okay. So why operational? You can use as you are going for the pay-as-you-go. Okay, shifting the capital expenditure capex model, where you invest the physical infrastructure and operational expenditure. OPEX model, in the OPEX model you pay for the resources you use on the recurring basis, monthly or annually, which include the cost for the computer storage and other. We have discussed about the detail, right? So when you are building the data center, you have to upfront, you have to invest it, but here you are going pay as you go models. The other option is not applicable, so leave it. Okay, let's talk about this. A cloud service that remains available after a failure occurs. That is called the fault tolerance, right? A
Yeah.
cloud service that can be recovered after a failure occurs. Disaster,
Disaster recovery.
yeah. The cloud service that perform quickly when demand increase, dynamically scaling up.
Scale- Yeah. Scale up.
Yeah, good. A cloud service that can be accessed quickly from the internet.
No latency.
Low latencies. It's simple. Okay. You plan to provision infrastructure as a service, IaaS. You can see resource in the Azure. Which resources is an example of IaaS and Azure virtual machine, right?
Yeah.
So virtual machine, we have talked about that. So this is the explanation, you can go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You can assign a lock to every Azure resource. You can, whatever you are deploying, I think this question also is original questions. You can assign a lock it to your Azure resource when you are after deployment,
Yeah. When you're done, right?
when you are done. Yeah. Next
To
is,
avoid leaving it on by mistake, and then
yeah.
once you leave it on, and they keep it in, then you get get
Yeah, so
charged.
locking means
It's pay as you go.
by accidentally nobody can do the alteration or
Yeah.
for
Alter. Yeah.
reboot or for deleting,
Yeah.
protecting the resources.
Exactly. Yeah. With all those. Yes.
Okay, next is, what is the first stage in the Microsoft Cloud adoption framework for Azure? Okay, little different question, but define your strategy. What is the first stage in the Microsoft Cloud adoption framework for Azure? To define your strategy, you should have a strategy defined and planned for you know
Yeah.
adopting the Azure. So that's the right answer. Little management answer. Okay, so so Microsoft Cloud Adaptation Framework is a defined strategy. You have to be have plan, right, for business justification. Understand the cloud. Why are you going? There is a lot of factors. Whether where you want to deploy, whether uh, in that region you have enough resources. What you want to deploy. So pre-check everything. You have to define and then you plan it, right? How you do that? Once you do the plan, then you are ready to go for the you know Azure setup guide first landing zone, explain the landing zone best practices. Probably in this area, you can also take the help from the Azure
Yeah.
or directly Azure or Azure partners, which can help you to understand better and exactly explain you what's your business suits and understand your existing business, and based on that they will recommend you. So there is always available supports. Either you can go directly support or you can also have a Azure partner, Microsoft partners, and then you adopt it, and then you go govern and manage. So manage is your responsible. Drag and drop the words to their places. Application can be deployed, tested, and launched rapidly.
That's
That's called
agility.
agility. Application and data can be deployed to multiple regions. So what we have selected during the exam, just
Yeah,
it,
geo
geo distribution.
distribution
Resources can be provisioned dynamically to meet changing demand.
and
Scalability.
scalability.
You plan to use Azure to host two apps named App1 and App2. The app must meet the following requirement. Look at this.
Yeah.
You must be able to modify the code of the app 1. Administrative efforts to manage the operating system of app 1 must be minimized. App 2 must run interactive with the operating system of the server. Which types of cloud service should you use for each app? To answer, select the appropriate options in the answer area. So app 1 PaaS and app 2 is the IaaS. That's the right selection.
Okay.
Okay, next question, let's see. Which terms represents the ability to increase the computing capacity of a virtual machine by adding memory or CPUs? Vertical scaling. Which terms represents the ability to increase the computing capacity? Computing capacity. See, capacity they are talking about. They are talking about the RAM,
The size,
memory, uh,
memory, yeah.
hard disk,
Hard
you
disk,
know,
yeah.
CPU. These are so that and only the vertical scaling. The right answer is vertical scaling. What is the features of an Azure virtual network? What is the feature of the Azure virtual network? Isolation and segmentation. So what they generally do when you create the virtual network, you are completely in the cloud itself. You are completely isolated, and you have created the segmentation. So that's called the isolation and segmentation. That's the correct answer.
Yeah.
Next, drag and drop. You have seen that during the exam, and it's the same questions. Drag and drop. Okay. So you have a multiple, but what is that? You have to read the and drag and drop. Increase the compute capacity of app in the cloud. Scalability. Scalability it will add in the cloud. Provide a continuous user experience with no apparently downtime. High availabilities. Geo distribution. Ensure the users always have the best experience by deploying apps to all the
All the
regions
region.
where there are users. So that's called the geo distribution. So I think this all we have discussed in details during the training. So that's easy questions. Okay, next. You need to identify the type of failure for which an Azure availability zone can be used to protect access to Azure service. What should you identify? So read the question. You need to identify the type of failure Azure availability zone can be used to protect access. Definitely there should be the Azure data center failure. The right choice is there. Azure
Yeah.
availability zones are
Because here we're looking at the you see the availability zone.
yeah. So availability zone are specifically designed, particularly designed to protect against failure at the data center level within the single Azure region in the one region. Okay. Each
Yeah.
availability zone is an independent data center with its own power, cooling, and networking. See, within the data center, it's isolated, and it is it is built like a separate data center within the region.
Mm-hmm.
If one data center availability zone fails, service running in another availability zone in the same region will continue to function ensuring high availabilities. Can you read again? This is very important
Yeah.
in the interview also. So they'll ask you what is the availability zone, how it is. So design especially in the same data center as a separate layers as a failure, high availabilities. Okay, independent, it's running independently, not only running the independently resources, but in the hardware also, power, cooling, and networking. Everything is isolated.
Okay.
Okay,
Not because somebody that is in the same availability zone as you having a failure that will affect you. Because every one of the users on that same availability zone has the capacity to run
failover.
without the other.
Right. So when you are deploying the application servers servers, it will ask you. So by
Yeah.
default, it will be the more than one availability zones. Okay, if you want to put more than, see, that is designed for the data center level. Some of the data center having a three availability zone, but we have discussed more than one availability zone is mandatory for the any data center in Azure. And if you have more than one, then only you can have a high availabilities, right?
Yes.
Okay. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true, otherwise select no. Now see, let's. An Azure subscription can be associated with the multiple Azure Active Directory tenant, Azure AD tenant. No. You can change the Azure Active Directory Azure AD tenant to which an Azure subscription is isolated. Yes. When an Azure subscription expires, the associated Azure Active Directory tenant is deleted automatically. No, it won't delete automatically. So, the Azure AD earlier was the LDAP. AD is Active Directory, which is authentication mechanism, centralized authentication. Now this is come on the cloud. So that is called the Azure AD. So this Azure AD is used for the centralized authentication purpose. In your company, if you get the laptop, you're logging. It is Azure AD. Mostly, it's everyone mostly is used. Okay, and that is for the centralized logging. The next question is, resource group provide organization with the ability to manage the compliance of Azure resource across multiple subscription instruction. If this statement is correct, select no change is needed. If the statement is incorrect, select the answer choice that make this statement correct. Management group. Resource group provided organization with the ability to manage the compliance of Azure resources across multiple subscription. So you can manage the multiple subscription using the management groups. You will have a management groups. The right answer is management groups. Okay, management group. So the explanation also is there.
Explanation. Yeah.
So management group provide the organization with the ability to manage the compliance policies and access control for Azure resource across the multiple subscription. So if you have multiple subscription also, using the management group you can manage. In the group, the kind of we have already discussed about the resource group, right?
Yeah.
On top of the management group, where you can do that. Resource group are used to organize and manage the resource within the single subscription. See, in a single subscription, you can manage under the resource group, one resource group there, right? But in the management groups,
Yes.
multiple subscription you can manage. Azure policy is referring help enforce compliance at the resource level, but they are no specific to managing across the multiple subscription. Management group and resource group. Did you understand? What is the
Yeah.
difference between management group? You have a multiple subscription under you can manage. Resource group you have a single subscription, right?
Yes.
Good. Now read this question. Your company plan to migrate to Azure. The company has a several department. Allow the Azure resources used by each department will be managed by department administrator. What are two possible techniques to segment Azure for the departments. So there's some kind of migration plan they're talking about, right? So the right answer is multiple resource group and multiple subscription. What are the two possible techniques to segment Azure for the departments? Multiple resource group, multiple subscription. Okay. So multiple
Yes.
subscription. Each department can be assigned its own Azure subscription, which allow complete isolation of resources, billing, and management. This way, department administrator can manage their own resources without affecting others. Multiple resource group. Within a single subscription, you can create multiple resource group, each of which can be dedicated to a different department. Resource group allow for organizing and managing the resource, including access control and cost management. Okay, I think we have discussed. Okay, let's go to the next. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true, otherwise select no. Okay, let's see that. This is the real questions. Single Microsoft account can be used to manage multiple Azure subscription. Single Microsoft account can be used to manage multiple Azure subscription. Yes, can be, right?
Yes.
Two Azure subscription can be merged into a single subscription. Two Azure subscription can be merged into the single subscription. No, that's not possible. You cannot.
Because that will diffuse the purpose of the first question.
Yeah, you can't. A company can use resources from multiple subscription. Company can use resources from the multiple subscription. Yes, can be. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Okay, see, you have a several virtual machine in an Azure subscription. You create a new subscription and you create the virtual machine. Can be moved to the new subscription, right? So there was multiple. I selected this only. You have, this is the right answer. You have several virtual machine in an Azure subscription. You create a new subscription. So you created the new subscription, and if you want to move the virtual machine, you can move to one subscription to the another subscription. That is what is explanation here. You can move a
Okay.
VM and its associated resource to the different subscription by using the Azure portal. Moving between subscription can be handy if you originally created a VM in a personal subscription and now want to move into your company. Okay,
Company.
so that's possible. Next question. You have an Azure environment that contains multiple Azure virtual machine. You plan to implement a solution that enables the client computers on your on-premises network to communicate to the Azure virtual machine. You need to recommend which Azure resource must be created for the planned solution. Which two Azure resources should you include in the recommendation? Okay, so what is telling? Azure environment contains multiple Azure virtual machine. Okay, and you plan to implement the solution that enable the client computers on your premises network to communicate to the Azure virtual machine. So a virtual network you have to create gateway, a virtual network gateway, and gateway subnet. That's the answer. I think we have not discussed about the more in subnet. We will discuss about that, but that's the answer. So what the network gateway will do? This is the explanation. Okay, let's go to this. You attempt to create a several managed Microsoft SQL Server instances in Azure environment and receive a message that you must increase your Azure subscription limits. What should you do to increase the limits? So you see, you are managing the SQL servers Azure environment and receive that you must increase your Azure subscription limit. So if you want to increase your subscription limit, what you have to create a new support request to the Azure. So Azure guy will extend
And here.
the quota. So you have to work with the Azure guy. So the correct answer is create a new support request. Another questions. Each Azure subscription can contain multiple account administrators. Yeah, the answer is yes. Each Azure subscription can be managed by using the Microsoft account only. No, it's not that. You have also third-party tools where you can manage the answer will be no. An Azure resource group contain multiple Azure subscription, and Azure resource group contain multiple Azure subscription. The question answer is no. It cannot be. Okay, let's see these questions. Your company plan to move several servers to Azure. Your company plan to move several servers to Azure. You are evaluating which Azure service can be used to meet the compliance policy requirements. Which Azure solution should you recommend? So your company plan to move several servers to the Azure. So from on-prem to Azure, and what they are going to do that. What would be the right choice? The virtual network for the FinServes and another virtual network for all the other servers. So you have some of the servers in the different lot of segmentation you have existing. So the right choice would be the virtual network for the Fin server and another virtual network for the another Fin server means financial servers, right? Everything you cannot mix it together. Okay. Yeah.
That's the explanation. Yes.
Right. Now, which service enables cloud architecture and central information technology groups to define a repeatable set of Azure resources that implement and adheres to the organization standard, patterns, and requirements? The right answer is Azure Blueprints. What is the Azure Blueprints? Azure Blueprints enables cloud architects and central IT groups to define a repeatable set of Azure resources that adheres to an organization standard, patterns, and requirements. It allows for the creation of environments that compile with the organizational policies by building together resource manager templates ARM. Again, you will resource manager template, policy assignments, role assignment, and resource groups into the single package. This helps to ensure that new deployment meet predefined standard and compliance requirements. So Azure Blueprint will help you a lot of things to do for the assigning the policies, resource group, and all.
Yeah, okay.
Your business intend to use Azure to deploy artificial intelligence AI solution. How should you how should the business develop, test and implement a predictive analytics solution? So that's a ML solution, Azure Machine Learning Designer. The right answer is there. Okay, the explanation is here.
Yes. Yeah.
A company is planning to set up a microservices based application, so container based application on the Azure. They want to use the service that could be used to orchestrate the deployment of container based application. Which of the following could be used for this? So for the container services, Microsoft have a services name called the Azure Kubernetes. So Kubernetes is a container technology which is also inbuilt, and they are providing as a service in the Azure. So you can use the Azure Kubernetes.
So it's in build.
That's the service, as a service is provided.
Okay.
That is called the AKS, the Azure Kubernetes Services. We'll see that.
Yes.
A newly established company created the following resources using a pay-as-you-go Azure subscription: Azure Kubernetes, Azure Storage Account. The Azure Kubernetes service belongs to which of the following deployment models? So, Azure Kubernetes is a
Okay.
platform as a service PaaS. Then generally is considered as a PaaS. Azure Kubernetes service is managed Kubernetes services, which means that Azure takes care of the underlying infrastructure. So yes, as a PaaS underlying infrastructure, it will taken care by that. You have to take care of the planning and Kubernetes, controlling the nodes and all services and all using the PaaS. It provides the platform to deploy the managing container application without having to manage the underlying infrastructure. So basic infrastructure will be provided. You have to manage the software platform as a service. Another set of questions is, what is the features of Azure Virtual Network? As we have discussed, the same question repeated. Isolation and segmentation. What is that? Isolation and segmentation.
Segmentation.
Isolation and segmentation will be done by the Azure Virtual Network, isolation and segmentation. Azure Virtual Machine allow you to create the isolated and segmented network within the cloud. This features enables you to control traffic flow, enforce security policies, and create isolated environment for different application on the service. So when you create the VNet, then you have a what port you want to enable, what level of traffic you want to follow in the particular groups you can assign into on particular servers. These all can be controlled. Security policy can be controlled if you have
Mhm.
VNet. Which of the following enables Azure resources to be deployed close to users? So geo distribution, close to user, geo distribution is the right answer. Read that. Geo distribution enables Azure resources to be deployed close to users by distributing resources across multiple geography locations. This helps you to reduce the latency, improve the performance, and provide a better user experience by ensuring that the resources are located closer to the end user. That's a geo distribution explanation. Drag and drop. Match the cloud computing benefits. So you have to generally drag. So read this right side. Increase the compute capacity of app in the cloud. What would be? Increasing scalability, right?
Increase, yeah, that's the scalability.
Right. Provide a
Provide continuous user experience with no apparent downtime. That's high availability.
perfect. Right.
And then ensure the user always have the best experience by deploying to all region where there are the users. That's geo distribution.
See, you're talking now is your language, cloud language. That's good.
Yeah,
See,
got a good teacher.
practice makes a disciplined man, right?
And then having a good teacher help also too. You
Thank you
can
so
you
much.
can you can practice all you want, but if you don't have anybody that can give you a better explanation, it doesn't matter how much you read, you might not get it. So explanation is the best way to go.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so let's go to the next question. You need to identify the type of failure for which an Azure availability zone can be used to protect access to the Azure service. Okay, protect access
You need to identify the type of failure of the
in
which
this
of the Azure
scenario.
availability zone. Yeah.
So Azure data center availability zone again. Once is availability zone,
Isn't this
data.
this is a repetition, right? We already did you said
Yeah,
on the beginning, right? This
yeah.
repetition.
Some of the but there is a different options here. Yeah,
Yeah, this is a repetition because we already it's the same question. We've seen the same question
yeah,
on that one.
yeah. Eh, eh, Okay, so I think let's read this question. You plan to deploy several Azure virtual machine. You need to ensure that service running on the virtual machine are available if the single data center fails. Single data center fail solution. You deploy the virtual machine in the scale set. Does this mean no? A scale set doesn't work.
Oh,
No, that should be in the different availability zone.
yeah.
Okay, let's do this. An Azure subscription can be associated with the multiple Azure Active Directory AD tenant.
We just
Question
did that too.
with the
No.
yeah. Okay. Management group we have done that. I think the same question repeated. Okay. Okay. I think resource. Okay. Let's do this. Single Microsoft account can be used to manage multiple Azure subscription. Yes, that's very
We
important.
we did this all this we already did all this one also too.
Okay. You have Azure. Okay. This also we
Yeah,
have.
all these are repetitions.
Okay. How about this? Okay. New supports. Yes.
So we
That is
did
also
this.
that. This is also we have done. Same questions.
Yeah. It's coming the same question is coming back.
Right. Azure blueprints also we have.
Did that also too.
Yeah. Azure Kubernetes also we have discussed. Platform as a service also we have discussed. Okay. So let's discuss the another few questions which is very important and definitely it will help you and the jam. So okay, so okay, hold on. I think mostly we have discussed all, but I am also going to, we can have also another classes where we will more discuss about the three section. Architectural component of Azure we have discussed, Azure compute we will discuss, Azure networking we will discuss, and Azure storage. So compute, networking, and storage that we are going to discuss in the details. Okay, and
Okay, so you said network storage and what?
compute, network storage, and compute.
Okay.
Okay, so that will discuss details onto mostly more details onto that. So what I will do that I will create another sort of 30 to 40 questions. Okay,
Okay.
and we will discuss in the next session. Uh,
Okay.
and after that you should be ready for the going for the exam. All right.
Yes.
Okay, so let me stop the record.